Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Apprentices will receive better support thanks to the Coalition Government's trade support loans legislation. Having more apprentices in the workforce means we can boost our productivity and meet the changing needs of our economy. It also means we continue to enjoy the standard of living we have today. Imagine for a moment a world without tradespeople and apprentices. Imagine a world where trade skills were lost because they weren't passed down to a younger generation. It may seem like hyperbole, Mr Deputy Speaker, but consider for a moment the possible consequences. Our houses would fall down eventually because there'd be no one to fix a leaky roof or the plumbing. We couldn't build any new ones. Manufacturing would become a thing of the past. Cars and public transport would come to a standstill. Baking and bread making would become a home-based pastime. We'd all have to learn to make our danishes and sausage rolls for morning tea. We'd have no furniture because there'd be no cabinet makers. Our computers and our IT systems wouldn't work, not even Facebook. We'd cut our own hair, and it would even impact romance, Mr Deputy Speaker, because even jewellery making is considered to be a trade. So our Trade Supports Loan Scheme, the fulfilment of a commitment that we made to the people of the Central Coast in our growth plan, will provide real support for apprentices to complete their skills training and provide a stronger incentive for young Australians to become apprentices and complete their apprenticeships. At present, there are high dropout rates in apprenticeships and only 1 in 2 people actually complete their training. This can have a significant economic and social impact. Our trade support loans are part of the solution because they've got the dual effect of providing financial support for people to complete their training, as well as encouraging more Australians to learn a trade by offering interest-free loans of up to $20,000 to assist with everyday costs. Payment will be made monthly in arrears and will be at a higher rate during the first 2 years to provide support when it is needed most and when wages are at their lowest. Apprentices will have access to up to $8,000 in their first year, $6,000 in their second, $4,000 in the third and $2,000 in the fourth year. These trade support loans will commence in July at an estimated cost of $1.9 billion over the forward estimates. They're flexible to meet the needs of every individual. For example, an apprentice could opt in for just 6 months so that they can buy their tools, or perhaps save up their first-year payments to buy a second-hand car and then opt out of further loan payments if they wanted, or they could take the full amount to cover living expenses throughout their 4 years or so of training. Apprentices will have to apply for a loan and will have to indicate every 6 months if they want it to continue. In this way, we can ensure that apprentices are aware of the debt they're accruing. As an additional incentive, anyone who completes their apprenticeship will have the amount owing on their loan reduced by 20%. Like fee help and HECS loans for higher education students, apprentices will only repay their loans through the tax system when they're working and earning an income of at least $50,000 per year. Unlike Labor's Tools for Your Trade program, our trade support loans are a hand up, not a handout. Tools for Your Trade delivered a payment of $5,000 that came in 5 lump sums. But what we've found by talking to apprenticeship centres and employers, including those on the Central Coast, is that there was growing community concern about how some apprentices were wasting their tool allowances on holidays, 21st birthday parties and other recreational activities. Mr Deputy Speaker, the feedback that I'm getting from people on the Central Coast about our loan scheme is very positive. Kane Howell, a third-year apprentice bricklayer from Greenpoint, told me it's hard to make ends meet and that the Trade Support Loan Scheme will help provide him help when he needs it the most. Jack Vickery, a third-year apprentice carpenter from North Avoca, said he has a long list of expenses, such as car costs and petrol and general vehicle costs, and he said he needs these things to be able to do his job. Jack told me he was really pleased to hear how the government was supporting tradies on the Central Coast. Jack and Kane are just 2 examples of more than 2,000 apprentices in my electorate who will benefit from our government's reforms. Our plan will also be better for employers on the Central Coast. Brock Robertson, owner of All Jobs Plumbing at North Avoca, said he's been reluctant to take on plumbing apprentices due to the fear of them losing interest in their trade and leaving. He believes the new trade support loans will help apprentices stay focused on completing their trade. Mr Robertson said it gives him the reassurance he needs to take on apprentices to give them a fair go. Mr Deputy Speaker, Australia needs a training system that provides the skills the industry needs and delivers real jobs. The Trade Support Loans Bill is part of this system, which is already being well received in my electorate, and I commend the legislation to the House.